Hey Andre, that is quite the side-by-side you have displayed on your computer.
Yes.
And we're here because we just got some breaking news from our friends at Polaris. And there is a new top dog, most powerful ever side-by-side in town. But before we get to the brand new Polaris RZR Pro R, let's talk about the Turbo R because that's also new. So obviously we've been waiting for this new side-by-side for a long time. It was delayed by COVID. So in this video, Andre, I'm going to have you go through all of the details. So if you guys are into side-by-sides and you want to know about what RZR is bringing to the table, bringing the pain to Can-Am, right, to the Maverick,
and everybody else.
And everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's go through it. Let's start with the Turbo R, which you're looking at right there.
Yeah, so Polaris is actually changing things up just a little bit. Of course, they have the full range of side-by-sides and all kinds of machines. But we're talking about the top dogs, the newest machines, and the coolest, I think. The new Turbo R basically replaces the Turbo S. Remember that machine from before?
We had it. We tested it. It was ultimately capable. I never felt like it was underpowered, Andre, but apparently, according to Polaris, it may have been underpowered because it now seems a little slow.
Well, progress is here. We're still moving. So the new Turbo R, and it shares actually the chassis with a Pro R, which is we're gonna talk about in a few minutes. It's basically a new chassis. It kind of looks the same though. So we'll go through several images, but the exterior look resembles the older XP Pro that they had. But it's a new fully welded chassis with a fully welded frame and roll cage, Polaris says, which is really important because when you have 181 horsepower, like in this turbocharged model right here, and you have up to 28 inches of travel, things can get dicey.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, these are as close to a racing machine as you're ever going to get, from the dealer.
Yes, from the factory.
Yeah, I'm always amazed at how ultimately capable and competent they are. They seem to be having fun, right? They seem to be really enjoying themselves.
These images are provided by Polaris.
Yes. That is a crazy color. Look at that. I had a jacket like that in 1980 when I went skiing. I'm not joking. It was that same green with the 80s are back.
Sorry, that was a Pro R. That was a tease of what's coming up really soon.
All right, so there's a two-door, right, and there's a four-seater as well?
Yeah, so it's pretty simple. Yeah. It's a Turbo R at the top of this turbocharged range, or Turbo R4 for four-seaters or a four-door. So the chassis for these top wide open models, they call them. So they used to be high performance, now it's just wide open because the sky is the limit, I guess. They made them wider because 72 inches wide was not wide enough.
Yeah.
They made them 74 inches wide, and they reinforced the front A-arms. You can see how massive and beefy those are.
Is there a closer picture, or we got one that's kind of far away?
Yeah, we can get a few more pictures. Like right here, you can see how massive these things are, and they're not aluminum, dude. I thought initially they would be aluminum. They're boxed steel construction.
Now, when we had ours, we actually snapped the drive shaft while we were jumping it.
Yeah, so it was a rear drive shaft.
Rear drive shaft. So I'm wondering if they made the drive shaft a little bit more beefier. Hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, but they talked about it. So they improved the hubs, the bearings, the drive shafts, and of course also their latest belt-driven transmission is still there. So it's still a belt-driven or variable ratio, basically a CVT, but they beefed it up and they said that it has now dual path clutch cooling. So lots of cooling to make it more durable, and also larger clutches and larger belts.
Well, that's good. Nothing like breaking a belt on the trail to make your day.
That's not good.
And how about pricing? Have they talked about pricing?
Yeah, totally. So while we look at these happy, very, very attractive people,
I've noticed that the tires are just a little too clean.
Well, they may have cleaned them just a little. So the Turbo R starts at $25,999. So basically 26 grand. This four-door version right here, the four-seater, starts at $29,999. So yes, these are not very inexpensive machines, but like I said, they increase the capability and suspension. We haven't even talked about shocks yet.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So yeah.
The one thing I'm always amazed at is just how expensive these dedicated off-road machines are, right? I mean, you're talking the price of an entry-level Wrangler or Bronco.
Yeah, now we're talking 30 grand.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And obviously in some states they are road legal, but in most they're not.
Exactly. So they're getting more capable, but also more expensive. And the Turbo R version, they're saying it has lower gearing and it's more suited for slow speed crawling as well. And then of course the other machine, the Pro R, is just all out full
So how
speed.
much suspension travel?
So this is interesting because Polaris is very unique in how they specify it. They're saying usable suspension travel is 27 inches in the front, 28.3 in the rear on the Turbo R. But if you talk about wheel travel, and usable travel is kind of complicated, it's about 23 inches of travel, which is still
mind-blowing. Yeah, I know.
Like we were talking yesterday, a new Raptor has 13 to 14 inches of travel. We're talking almost doubling that here.
Yeah, I know. But how big are the tires?
32s.
Wow, so it's rolling on 32s.
Yeah,
now.
so 30s are last year.
That's now the one thing we found when we actually upgraded our tires on the Can-Am Maverick we had, it did get a little bit less stable.
It got tippy.
And you almost rolled it, if I remember right in that video.
Well, we got 35s. So was it 35s?
I don't know. They were big.
Yeah. So, but this machine is wider for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
It's more stable. It's a little bit more heavy. Some of these machines are between about 2,100 pounds to about 2,300 pounds of curb weight. So they should be stable, and obviously they're tuned for that weight.
All right, we've kept them waiting long enough. Let's go to the big boy. Let's go to the Pro R,
Yes.
which is the new horsepower king of side-by-sides. Drum roll, Andre. How much horsepower?
So it's a brand new engine.
Is it?
And the horsepower is,
How big is the engine, first of all? What's the size?
so 2 liters, specifically
Yeah.
1,997 cc, so
Okay.
cubic centimeter. So basically a 2-liter motor.
Inline four?
Inline 4.
Yeah.
So no more twin cylinder or triple cylinder like the Can-Am uses. This is a proper 4-cylinder.
I think
This,
it's very similar to the Slingshot, right?
exactly, dude. They call it the ProStar Fury.
Whoa, wow.
It's the new
I
name.
love the name. ProStar Fury. that is a good name.
They know how to do names at Polaris.
Yeah, they're going for both space and anger.
So you might be wondering, Roman, how do they get 225 horsepower?
Andre, how did they get 225 horsepower out of an inline four? I'm not wondering that. That's not that hard.
No, but it's not turbocharged.
Oh, it's normally
See,
aspirated.
yeah, this is when I first heard this, because a normal hatchback like the GTI you recently drove, has 225 horsepower or so turbocharging, but this is not turbocharged.
I think that's great news, because the one thing that has always kind of, I shouldn't say bothered me, but I've never been in love with the exhaust note on a RZR. Right,
it's kind of loud and
it's kind of thumpy, but not in like a very pleasing way. The Can-Am has that Rotex power unit, and I ride motorcycles, and Rotex is used in a lot of motorcycles, especially dual sports, and so I always like the sound of that much better. With the Can-Am, maybe this one will have a better, but 4-cylinder, we'll see.
Yeah, it's slightly heavier, right? But it's high compression, high revving. I don't have an exact red line, but it could be over 8,500 RPM.
Wow, that's a lot.
So I mean, this is like a screamer of an engine, and also only premium fuel, because high compression engine, very high tech.
Let's show us some more pictures.
Yeah, so
we can kind of take a deep dive.
We can go over these.
I see they have a light bar, obviously, probably an accessory,
Little
a little fender. I don't know if you need a fender. I mean, you're probably gonna hit the wheels or tires before you hit the front of the thing.
Yeah.
A little. There you go. A much better picture of the fender. Those are massive.
Yeah, and also a half windshield or a full windshield and full roof. Everything is available, full doors on these models.
Look at those rock rails, dude.
Yeah, we have to talk about shocks now.
Yeah, what about the shocks?
That's next.
On the Pro.
Because the Pro R, there's 2 different options. If you have, first of all, it comes with the Sport, Premium, and Ultimate packages.
Okay.
If you're in the Sport or Premium, you can get Walker Evans shocks, which actually I like. I've tested them before on Polaris machines, and I like how adjustable they are, but you have to get out and twist those knobs, right?
Yep.
But I really like the range of either soft or firm that they offer. They're still available. Those Walker Evans 2.5 in the front, inch, and 3 inch in the rear.
Bypass.
Are available.
Bypass, right?
Internal bypass shocks are, and then on the Ultimate, it's
Fox.
the next generation Fox. So they call it Dynamics DV, Fox 3.0, live valve X2. I'm guessing that's second generation. Internal bypass, electronically controlled, compression and rebound.
Holy cow, Andre! That is a mouthful. I'm glad you got that out. Basically, what it means is hopefully the shocks are much more comfortable riding, much more sporty when you want them to be sporty, right? That's a great thing about active suspension. You could change the settings from firm. Let's say you're doing some kind of like dirt road running,
high performance, fast,
or you want it nice and soft when you're like rock crawling, or you want something in between when you're maybe doing some desert
in the
running.
whoops or something.
Yeah, that's always been the upside.
And so a live feature means, of course, that they're adjusting real time, right?
Yeah.
So there's an electrically controlled valve, but now for rebound and compression on both sides. And it also monitors the system and driver inputs 200 times a second.
I noticed 4-wheel disc brakes. I can see that.
Yep, 4 bore in the rear, 3 bore in the front. So pretty good brakes as well.
Yeah. Well, you need them. I mean, this thing's going to go pretty quick.
So basically, Roman, think about this like this. You can get a Turbo R like this machine with a turbocharged engine, or you can get the Pro R with slightly more suspension travel.
More pictures?
Yeah, with slightly more suspension travel, and also let me go here. And the new engine, right? So if you want the most horsepower,
they had a fun day in the desert.
I think they're high-fiving.
They are high-fiving each other.
Yeah, there you go. And of course, if you compare it to the Maverick X3, right, like we mentioned, the Turbo RR version of the Maverick is at about 200 horsepower.
So about 25 more.
So they just topped the Maverick. They topped everybody else.
And your notes here, I see it weighs about 2,144 pounds, payload 740. If you're using it to haul stuff, you probably got the wrong machine.
Yes.
And what's the cost? How much?
So this bad boy starts at $31,999. That's for the Pro R version, and the 4-seater.
Helmets on.
There you go.
No, go back. See,
where are they?
Oh, they got the
there they
helmets
are.
on, yeah.
Yes. And the 4-seater is $35,999, so 36. So dude, we're going into the upper $30,000 range.
I'm glad that they got rid of those holes in the doors. Always
the mud always
came flying up at us.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Maybe they're doing a little bit more mud protection. I wouldn't hold my breath for that, because for some reason people in side by side seem to like having mud chucked at them. But it looks a little bit more kind of laid back, kind of like the Can-Am. It's got a little bit less of a big mouth, right? The old one had this huge, open maw.
Very up front.
Yeah, very up front. You can see a little skid plate down there. I mean, look, this is not a utility machine, so we're not going to talk about towing or payload for the most part.
It doesn't have a hitch.
It doesn't have a hitch. This is a pure sport machine.
Yeah. And
it's basically meant for just going in the desert and having fun.
Exactly. And now, I mean, the gauntlet was thrown. So, like you said, when we opened this video, we've been waiting for something like this, the answer from Polaris. They now have the new engine available, new suspension, more travel than anybody else, and also higher pricing.
Anyway, guys, there you have it. Remember, you saw it first on the Fast Lane Off-Road. We also, actually this is TFL Now because that is breaking news. We also just did a video last night on the new Bronco Raptor, which is over at TFL Off-Road. If you want to keep up on all this breaking news, because there seems to be a lot this week, just go to tfl-studios.com. We've got all of the breaking news there. And what you have to do, or what you can do, is you can save it as a little web app so it's on your phone. That's how I figure out all the hard work that Andre's putting into bringing you guys this news. Thank you, Andre.
And Zach and everybody else, too.
And the entire team, yeah.
That's how white it is. Check it out.
That is not going to fit in the back of our pickup, Andre. How big of a trailer are you going to need to haul that?
No.
74 inches. Will that fit? Does that even fit into a toy hauler? It must.
It should.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. Maybe you could put it on top of the toy hauler.
Exactly.
Put the dirt bikes.
Load it up. Load it up.
All right. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Ciao.